So it's about 2 in the morning. I've been up for a few hours. I, I just crashed unexpectedly in the afternoon. So um, this is day number 3 where I'm saying this is the end. I'm moving forward. Um, I suppose on some level it's fitting that this is just dragging on because that's what it's been, right? Shit dragging on and on. But I have every reason to think that I should be able to get something to eat, um, and then go through the cards. I have to go through the cards before I bring them out, right? So I lost a day, but the day that I thought yesterday was going to be is going to have to be today. That's so simple, right? And I should hopefully, I think, actually get some work, or start getting some work done when I get back from selling the cards. We'll find it, but that's the plan. Right now, get something to eat. Like I said, about 2 o'clock in the morning. It's 10 degrees out in the air conditioners now. It's so frustrating. But yeah, I'm gonna get something to eat. It's eggs, so at least I'll have the stove on for a bit. But I gotta crank the heat too. What do you do? I think I should be back here by the time the sun comes up and we can have a talk again then. So I crashed again. It's around 7. I slept most of the morning. I think it's mostly the weather. We didn't get that nice humid boost in humidity yesterday that I was hoping we would get. And I mean, I slept through most of the afternoon, right? So, but I did check and it didn't really come in. So hopefully we get that in today so that I can open the window, get some humidity in here, pull all the dry air out, right? It's a combination of the air conditioner and the heater, right? Because it's like just not hot enough outside to turn the air on. I'm in the basement, so if you're gonna turn the air on when it's like 15 degrees out, I have to turn the heat up, right? And I have to turn the heat way up because when I turn the heat up, the air turns on, right? And it just like I have to make sure that the heat is up high enough to overpower the air, which means I have to turn the heat on to like 25 or 26, right? But I mean, the other option is I'm going to be freezing because the air, like the thermostat might say it's like 20 or 22 or something, but it's going to feel like 17 or 18 because that's what an air conditioner does, right? Is it sucks all the humidity and all the warmth out of the air. So, my options are I can either sit down here and I can shiver, or I can turn the heat up to 25, and I'm going to turn the heat up to 25, right? But the result of that is that it gets really dry, and I get really tired because it gets really hot, right? It's the problem is the air, right? But it's not. I mean, it's cold air actually wakes you up, right? The air conditioner won't make you fall asleep; it'll keep you awake, right? But yeah. That said, I also had a little bit of coffee yesterday, and the day before, I think. So I may be crashing from that. I doubt that. I think it's more just atmospheric. Hopefully, I can, like I say, I can get some humidity in here today. I might open the window when it gets hot, right? But it's also supposed to rain today, and I did want to get out and do the cards today. It looks like I'll probably, at the best, get the list done today before it starts raining, and then go out and do it tomorrow. Right, so that's my plan. I think it's like I didn't lose 1 day, but 2 days, and in fact, several more than that really happened. Damn it! I will get back to work 1 day. 1 day, I promise. 1 day, and when I do, it will be quick. But life. It would be great if I could just take life and like put it in a little tube and throw it in the ocean, right? But it's not gonna happen. Life is something you gotta live whether you like it or not, right? So you can imagine this is the day's worth. That box is full. I was thinking there was a couple hundred. I was thinking there was at least 100. There's no doubt. Probably at least 200. Probably more like 3 or 4. So what's actually in there? Um, well, he seemed to really like these McDonald's cards. I doubt they're worth anything. But for example, this is like, I don't know, there's like 20 of them in here, and they're all Wayne Gretzky Upper Deck McDonald's cards from 1998, which, was that his last year? I don't think it was his last year. I think it was his second last year. No, he played a few more years. Yeah, I think he played 2 years, and I don't know. But that's I don't really know what he was thinking there. I doubt he was thinking it was worth much, so much as he was thinking that uh, he bought a lot of coffees at McDonald's that year. But then there's this. This is a Jaromir Jagr card from 1991 in apparent mint condition. That was his second year. Um, at this point, we can say that Jaromir Jagr is a pretty good hockey player. Um, so, what is a second year Jagr card worth in 2007? Sorry, 2016. Who knows? He hasn't retired yet, but he's gonna retire soon. And when he does, he could very well end up second in scoring. Um, and his stats will be better than either Messier's or Howe's. So um, he could be the statistically second best player of all time. That's a legit possibility. And then there's this, which is a Nolan Ryan card, a baseball card from 1991. Is it 91 or 90? It's 91. So that's got to be one of his last years. But it's a seventh career no hitter card, right? So I can imagine a Nolan Ryan rookie card would be worth something. Is this worth something? I don't know. So you can imagine that because I'm more or less clueless, I realize that it's not a good idea to just take all of these. This is a third year Troy Aikman card. See, again, I would think that's probably worth something. A couple of dollars, anyways. But, I mean, because I don't really have any serious understanding of what any of this is worth, other than, saying, okay, I know who that guy is. See, again, this is I think this is a second year Alexander McGillney card. He's got a lot of second year cards, it appears. And the other thing is, I don't know how many of these he bought, right? I think he may have bought a significant amount of these, rather than buying the pack and pulling them out and looking at them and trying to pull out the good ones. I think that I bet he did that when he was a kid, right? But I don't think there's really anything in this box from before about 1995. Actually, there was some stuff from 1990, right? I don't think there's anything in here from before the 80s. Probably because I don't think that there was really a market from before then. And I mean, I don't know what the market is nowadays either, right? So, and I would suspect that the market is probably older, middle-aged men that are having difficulty letting go of their youth, sort of thing. It's a midlife crisis thing, right? So, we'll have to see how that works out. But I mean, I'm not just gonna take this big box of cards in and see you tell me what you think this is worth. I'm gonna go in with I'm gonna do my research on the internet. The internet's a wonderful thing. I'll write it all out in a little piece of paper. I'll say that it's worth this here or this here. This sold for this on eBay. Or at least I'm gonna start doing that. If I go through and I figure out that these are essentially all worthless or worth $1 each kind of thing, then I'll just bring them in and it'll be like, give me a mass purchase kind of thing. But I get the impression that there's some stuff in here that somebody might want. So let's do the research and try and figure it out. But yeah, I mean, it's we're looking at a hot rainy day. So I actually would like to stay in, make sure I stay in, air the place out, and um, I've got something to do. That's for sure. It'll last. I expect this will probably last me all day. But in fact, because I don't want to pass out, I am going to go get a coffee. Um, I still don't want to be making them. If I buy a small coffee, and that's all I drink today, that's still a substantial decrease. How are my veins doing? I think they are doing a lot better, but I think that it probably. I don't think it's. I don't think it's like. I never thought it was the coffee exactly, right? I always thought it was. I'm dehydrated, right? And so I said, well, if I'm dehydrated, maybe I should stop drinking this diuretic, right? So it's not like I was concerned about, what coffee does to your veins or your blood pressure or your heart rate or anything like that, right? And I think a lot of that is kind of fishy, right? I mean, there's as many studies that say the coffee is good for you as they are bad for you. There's coffees that say that it increases your blood pressure. There's studies that say it lowers your blood pressure. I really think that our understanding of coffee is surprisingly poor. And I don't mean my understanding. I mean that broadly speaking, like we don't understand coffee nearly. We know it keeps us awake, so long as we don't drink too much of it, in which case it loses its effectiveness. And we know it makes us piss. That's really pretty much all we can actually say with any certainty about coffee, and it stains our teeth. So if I'm concerned about being dehydrated, it makes sense for me to want to, lay off the diuretics, right? But I think that the biggest issue with the dryness is actually probably the heater. And that's actually, things are getting better because of shifts in weather. I was outside a little bit more, right? So I think that that's the actual issue. And hopefully if I can get some air in here today, that will be way better for me than not drinking coffee. But still, if I have a small coffee, that's better than 2 pots, right? So I am planning. I mean, I never intended to stop drinking coffee. Remember, it was just like I need to, get my figure out something to do with figure out what something figure something out with my veins, right? Because it was and it still is a little bit creepy, but it's better. So, and like I say, I think it's more the air quality than anything else. But yeah, small coffee, and then that's what I'm doing today. I'm gonna. This is gonna be at least a 2-day vlog. I think I'm gonna aim for 3. I've certainly slept enough in the last couple of days. I should be caught up on it. Let's aim to get this done and get some work done. Let's plan for both. That's my goal. So it's almost 5 o'clock, but I do believe I have a handle on this at this point. What have I got here? Well, I got a light. It looks like he left a number of the McDonald's sets. And when I say a number, I mean that there are multiple full sets of the 3 different types. It's all from the 1998 year. And multiple subsets. And when you add it all up, I think there's actually, if I'm lucky, if I can get somebody that is interested in it. I mean, I could walk in there and they could tell me they don't take these types of cards, right? But according to what the prices on the internet tell me, there's probably close to $200 worth of sets there. And if I'm lucky, I could be pushing, and this is just in sheer bulk, right? $1 for this card, $2 for that card. It adds up. to another $200. So if I'm lucky, I can get close to $400 out of this. I think maybe if I'm unlucky or more of a reasonable uh, projection is probably more like 250, 300. But I'll have to see where that goes. Now, um, I mean, there's some weird stuff in there, like that who really knows how much, like this is a card from, or it's like a pin, it's from 1962. Yeah. Um, like, who really knows what that's gonna run for, right? Um, and he was smart enough to put aside lots and lots of Gretzky cards. It's the Gretzky cards that are worth something, right? The rest of them are just kind of like whatever, right? So if you sell the set, the individual cards in these McDonald's things and these Gretzky things are basically worthless. But the Gretzky cards are worth something, and so if you sell the set, then you can get rid of them with it, right? So I don't think that's what he was thinking, but I think that's the smart thing. I'm going to change my battery, so back in a sec. And the flip side of that is that I think that once I take the sets out, and cash in some of the stuff that I can actually get something or other for. And keep in mind, I'm going to have. I think it's best to get rid of the sets as soon as possible, kind of thing. But like he's got like 20 loose Gretzky cards there, and if I can't get a decent price for them, I'll hang on to them. Which is what this other pile here is. This is kind of more or less what I've cut down to hanging on to. And what is it? It's like Gretzky, Jagr, Fedorov. These were his favorite players, so and they were very good players. So if it's just a question of supply and demand, right? There's a lot of cards out there, so you sell a Gretzky card nowadays. If it's not, unless it's like a special card or something, just your run-of-the-mill Gretzky card, it's gonna be like $1 or something, right? Because there's a lot of them. But if I hang on to that Gretzky card and I try to do the same thing 50 years from now, even I think maybe 30 years from now, that's something that we'll actually appreciate, right? So he seemed to pick out a lot of, he fancied himself somewhat of a sports expert, right? So he pulled out rookie cards for a lot of players that didn't go anywhere. So that's what a good stack of that is. It's just like worthless rookie cards. But it's just, so this is stuff that it's the sets and a lot of stuff is more or less worthless. And a few things that I might get a couple dollars for, right? But they're actually mostly the special McDonald's cards. And a few other things like a few other things that have to do with sets, right? So, for example, apparently the Robert Reichel cards sell at higher than average prices. There's no real logic to that. Robert Reichel was not he's not a hockey player that went anywhere. But it must have something to do with the fact that the cards are a little bit scarce, right? So that's why I wanted to do the research, just so I can kind of figure that kind of thing out, right? Most of the cards that are in that pile will not appreciate. Or the ones that do will likely not appreciate more. In fact, I think I think those McDonald's cards in the long run are going to actually depreciate. I think that I'm better off getting rid of them, kind of thing. Now, but these cards are more like upper deck, and it's stuff like there's like a Nolan Ryan had his 7th career no hitter, or the time that Ricky Henderson stole his 939th base, that kind of thing. I think is likely of some value in the long run, right? Troy Aikman cards. There's It's a Joe Montana card and a Jerry Rice card, right? So I know enough to know which ones are probably going to be worth something in the long run, right? So, which is a much smaller pile than that, right? So, um, I could very well be making a completely irrational decision here. I don't claim to be any kind of expert, but I would think that those are worth as much as they're ever going to be worth. Um, so, let's cash it in, and I'm going to give these ones a try. So I mean, not all of them are. There's like a Brendan Shanahan one in here. Is a Brendan Shanahan card gonna appreciate? I don't know. If you can give me $2 for it today, I'll take it, right? But the Gretzky stuff, I can't see the Gretzky stuff going anywhere but up, right? Even if it's just like anything, anything with Gretzky on is going to be worth something, right? So, those are the ones I want to hang on to, right? Except the McDonald's stuff, I don't. I think that it's kind of probably a closed loop, right? And once those people die, it'll be done. So time to get rid of it, kind of thing, right? So yeah, but that's my take on that. I come home with a nice wad if I'm lucky. But then again, like I say, I could walk in there and the guy could be just like, no, we're not. We have enough McDonald's cards or whatever else, right? So, like I say, I think the fact that they're sets though is key. And I have to get something for the Gretzky cards or I won't bother. So it's in its maximum extent. This is more than I was expecting. So it'll probably come down a little to what I was actually expecting. I was expecting around 200 or 300. So hopefully that's about what I get. But like I say, I could. There is a potential I could get lucky with this. We'll find it.